Hey, beautiful people. Happy Friday! I hope that your day has brought you nothing but reasons to smile. And if it hasn't, as you all know, by the end of this video, I will have given you a reason to laugh. Whether it's intentional or unintentional, I'm sure that you'll find one. So, as you know, I like to start out with a couple quotes just to get us going and to get people a chance to get on. And so today I'm going to go into the chapter of ability. And let's start here. Our duty as men and women is to proceed as if limits to our ability do not exist. We are collaborators in creation. Hi, Crystal. Got this wild hair here. There you go. Get that guy. All right. The Creator has not given you a longing to do that which you have no ability to do. I think that's very important because I think of many times the inspiration, and this will be one of my talks too, is that we feel that we can't do certain things, but I'm here to tell you, if you felt inspired by something or that you were to do something, you should do it. And we'll talk about that later, but today we're going to talk about stress, the untrained puppy. But first, let's go ahead and get into letting some more people get on first. Your greatest asset is your earning ability. Your greatest resource is your time. And that's from Brian Tracy. Hi, Leonard. Excellence is the unlimited ability to improve the quality of what you have to offer. No amount of ability is of the slightest avail without honor. That is so true. Based on what you're doing and why you're doing it will let you know how long it's going to last. And I mean that in so many areas of your life. The ability to accept responsibility is the measure of man. Whoa, that is so true. Discipline is something a lot of people unfortunately run from. But discipline is the very thing that separates excuse from progress. And we'll get into that too. Hi, Tyson. A couple more, and I'll let a few more get on before I get into stress, your untrained puppy. Even though we're not talking about a puppy, you'll get it. Hi, Cherie. The ability to accept responsibility is the measure of man. Ironically, I was just talking about that. To know how to hide one's ability is great skill. Ability is nothing without opportunity. Success is the maximum utilization of the ability that you have. A man of ability and the desire to accomplish something can do anything. The ability to convert ideas to things is the secret of outward success. Innovation is the ability to see change as an opportunity and not a threat. I'm going to tell those of you who are waiting for a few more minutes, I'm going to give them about another 30 seconds to 60 seconds to get on. You may want to get a pen and paper because I will give you takeaway notes. Tonight it's very streamlined, very easy, but it is going to hit on, the other night I talked about how stress when you, actually let me just recap, that's how I'll spend my few minutes. Yesterday I talked about that internal stress, that it is, if you are on high drive on the inside of your body, knowing or unknowing that this is happening, you are tearing your body up. You are literally putting yourself into dis-ease, which we know is disease. And so you want to really be sure that you understand where you're at on the inside, because if you don't, you are tearing yourself up silently. And so I will tell you that a lot of people have managed to do this masking thing, right? To go and de-stress in ways that actually just mask the stress, but your body is still, it's kind of like you trying to give it a painkiller. The nerves are still fighting. They're still on fire. They're still doing whatever, but that pain pill, hi David, that pain pill has soothed it momentarily. And that's what happens when you find temporary reliefs of stressors, ways to hide, such as in movies or games or alcohol or drugs or cigarettes or whatever it is that your vice is. You are still not helping the body to actually calm, to center, to feel it's okay, to feel safe, to calm down, to get out of that fight or flight process. You're not helping it when you go into these other things. So it's very important that you understand you must know what's going on in the inside, because even if you want to act like it's not going on, even if you want to smile out loud but suffer in private, just know that I'm telling you, your body it knows what's going on. So you might be able to hide from your neighbor or your spouse or your friend or your coworkers or whatever. Hi, Craig. but you will, in fact, in time, see the unfortunate events that happen when you keep stressing your body for too long. So that brings us to today, because I don't like to take you guys somewhere then leave you out there without a resource, or leave you out there without something that you can turn to. I hope you do understand that the process of becoming one with self and being, and like I said, being one with the isness, is it's a process. And so when I give you these tips, when I give you these things, I need you to understand this is surface learning. It goes a lot deeper, but I like to give you a point that I feel like you can take home with you, something that you don't have to be as far into this as I am in order to take something home. So we'll go ahead and start. So this one, for title's sake, is Stress, the Untrained Puppy. And at the end, we'll go back to why I titled it just that. So let's talk about things to consider. One is what affects you. What is it that affects you? Because what affects me doesn't affect you. They can be two totally different things. You may be affected by somebody who, I don't know, doesn't open doors, or for women or for kids or whatever. And I may have not given it no thought. Basically, there's different types of things that get our attention. You may be mad because somebody cut you off in a lane, and I go, okay, well, he must be in a hurry. We all have these different things. So it's important first to know what affects you and what triggers you. Hi, Sarah. So the reason this is important is because as you go on with your learning of this, you'll start to understand that before the actual thing happens, you're actually geared up to respond to it because it's become your normal stress response. For instance, you get on the freeway, you're already in defense mode, because if somebody cutting you off really ticks you off, you are almost baiting for that to happen because you put your energy in front of the moment, meaning that you're kind of almost anticipating it. You're like waiting for that reason to be upset, right? You're like, okay, I know somebody's gonna cut me off today. Some of you, it's coworkers. So before you go to work that day, hi Clint, before you go to work that day, you're going, you know what, I know that such and such is going to be there. She's going to pull the same shenanigans. And so you're setting yourself up before you even, actually when you put on your uniform, before you get in your car, before you get into that parking lot, you're already geared up. So your energy is already collecting the stress. It's already saying, I know what's going to happen. Let me gear up for my fight or flight response. Let me pre-stress before I have a reason to stress. This is why I say, first, do the homework of finding out what triggers you. What is it that catches your attention that's a not so peaceful thought? What is it that raises your blood pressure? What is it that gives you something other than good to say? So know what bothers you. Know what affects you. Then you need to decide what you want to experience differently. That you want to experience life differently. Some people don't want to get rid of their stress. I'm telling you this to be honest with you. I'm not trying to be mean here, but a lot of people, they're addicted to the stress highs and lows, to the self-sabotage of it, to the story to tell about it. You know, I mean, if everything was if they looked at everything in a positive light and as if everything was peachy keen, what would they have to gossip about? What would they have to be upset about? Some people feel the need to have to feel an angry void. They have to feel something to talk about. Here's the insight. If I could ask you to do something that you could do right now at this very moment, I want you to stop saying stress management. Because the moment you say stress management, you're saying I need some stress to manage. How about we call it happiness management? How about we say that I am going to start being a better manager of my happiness, not a manager of my stress? Because in order to be a manager of your stress, what do you have to have? You have to have reasons to stress. Our job is to just really not even use stress anymore. I mean, we don't even have to use it. So we're going to be better managers of our happiness, not better managers of our stress. We're going to fire stress, okay? We're going to fire the manager of stress and hire the manager of happiness. Stress is overrated. You stress because you don't have a job. Then you stress when you do get the job. You stress because you don't have a wife. And then you get a wife because you're stressed you have a wife. You stress because you don't have a husband. Then you get a husband and you're stressed that you're stuck with your husband. And then you keep finding things that you don't want and replace them, and it still doesn't work. So then you're stressed out in both ways. And I'm going to tell you where that comes from. And some of this may not be easy for people to accept because maybe we've never realized this. Hi, Freddie. Hey, Tyson. Maybe we've never realized this before, but we have literally been doing ourselves a disservice, a setup, right? We've been setting ourselves for this pre-ammunition of feeling stressful because we've already got it in our mind that these things that we've experienced bring us stress, and we keep that automatic response. Hi, Gary. We keep that automatic response system. So an unruled, undisciplined mind is loosely called stress. What I'm saying is, if your mind isn't calm, if your body is not balanced, if you do not have some balance in yourself to be able to not respond to outside issues, if you don't have balance with that, if you have not figured out that you're like a ticking time bomb for certain things and you haven't learned how to manage that, then that's undisciplined mind. That's a mind, and we'll get to that. That's that untrained puppy. So let's see. Here's the other thing, is to stop assuming that life has to be quiet in order to be good. I think we let's look at nature, for instance, right? Nature proves to us that you can have a hurricane, you can have a summer, you can have a breeze, you can have a sunny day, you can have a cloudy day, you can have rain, you can have all these different things, and everything gets what it needs. But there was never just 100 or 365 sunny, perfectly 80-degree days everywhere. That's not how it went. There was days of storms and hurricanes and fires and, oh my gosh, everything. But everything still found its proper place. Everything still worked out. So you got to stop thinking that just because things don't look or feel peachy keen that they have to be stressful or wrong or out of place. You have to just start really looking at things differently and learning how to train your mind and your eyes to see things in the right way. I would say a different way, but honestly, if love is what makes the world go round, and nature is in its perfect element at all times, and the world is a big recycling center for everything in it is enough, then we're choosing to look at things a certain way. So how about we just choose to look at things differently? And this is one of my favorite examples. I believe it was Confucius that said it, or maybe even Lao Tzu, but it may have been Confucius. And he said, if you're anxious, you're living in the future. And if you're depressed, you're living in the past. And if you're at peace, you're living in the present. And that makes so much sense, because when we think about the future, why do we get anxious? We get anxious because we don't know how. We don't know the next steps. We don't know, based off right now, how we're going to do that. We take away any opportunity. We take away any opportunity to just say, you know what? I know that everything is always working out for me. I know that everything that I need is on its way, because I believe this is what faith is. Like, faith is saying, I don't know the how, but I know the who. And we don't want to do that. That's just too big. That's just a big gap, right? From here to the future. So we get anxious. And as far as the past, we always think that the past is so awesome. Man, I wish we can go back to the good old days. And I'm not going to tell you that there's not some good memories back there, but generally those good memories that you're pulling for, that were the good old days, responsibility was a lot different. There's responsibility that comes with growth, and that's not punishment. That's advancement. That's saying, you know what? I get more out of life. I give more out of life. I get more out of life. I grow more in life. And you keep climbing this ladder. You don't get to stay 9. You don't get to stay 6. You don't get to stay 14. You don't get to stay 15. You don't get to stay all those things. You keep going. But the thing is, you don't keep going and getting stressed. Think about it. Okay, weren't you excited the first time you thought you could drive? You weren't stressed about, oh my gosh, I have to get this and this by driving. No, you're saying, I want to drive. I want to experience this. Hi, Robin. Hi, Angela. You say, I want to experience this. And when you want to experience this, you're more excited about it. But we kind of like spoiled kids in a way, because if it's not something we want to experience, we don't want to do the work for it. The thing is, you just got to stay disciplined in your mind to not see it as something so rugged. You didn't sit there and be like, oh man, I got to take driver's ed so I can get my license, so I can get a car I want. No, you're like, man, I'm going to get through driver's ed so I can drive this car, so that when I can go ahead and get the car of my dreams and blah, blah, blah. You have all this built up positive energy because it's something you want. And so that's what I'm telling you has to happen with anything in your life. Be built up about it. Say you're after it. Go get it. You don't have to stress over it. Stressing is just not. So you say, okay, what do I do? Give me this lecture 2 days in a row about stress, and you have not given me one stinking thing that I'm supposed to do. All right, so I told you to get your pen and paper. Get that pen and paper. I'm going to give you 10 doable solutions. Hi, Michael. I'm going to give you 10 doable solutions to get you started. So I'll just recap really fast. The things you need to consider to get this happy management instead of stress management started is one, consider what affects you, know your triggers. Make a list the next how many ever days, something that triggers you, that ticks you off. Hi, Lynn. Whether it's traffic, whether it's your dog barking at 5 a.m., whether it's your spouse snoring with a CPAP machine, whether it's the neighbor doing something, whether it's your son or daughter, whatever triggers you to all of a sudden get this angst, this stress, you need to write those down because you have to work on those. And so if you don't know them, you can't work with them. You have to be responsible in identifying them. And then the second thing is we're going to stop calling it stress management, because when you call it stress management, what do you have to do? Call in the stress to manage it. So we're not going to call it that no more. We're going to say we're going to be a better happy manager. We're going to be a manager of happiness. And so we're going to fire the stress manager. The other thing is stop assuming that life has to be quiet to be good. Nature is loud as all get out, and she gives us everything we need. So stop thinking that if there's a bump in the road that it's got to be stress. It doesn't have to be stress. So here's the 10 doable solutions to get started. Everybody ready? Number one. It's a 3-point number one, but hi, Julio. Walk, exercise, and eat right. Why does that matter? There is not just science or anatomy and all those things that prove it. All the good feeling hormones that get released when you walk and when you exercise, and eating right. I mean, come on. Do I need to go there with you guys? And I will do a series on me being vegan and what I've seen about that and how well it has done me and how awesome I feel and all that. But this is not the segment for it. So number one was walk, exercise, and eat right. That's all number one altogether. Number two is meditate. And if you don't know what meditation is, I want you guys to, I understand when some of you go, oh, it might be a certain type of religious thing. It's not. Meditation is just disconnecting to reconnect. I'm going to give it to you very basic, but you're going to disappear from all this and you're going to center. I'm not going to go into that any deeper. I will do another video on that, but meditate. So if you don't understand meditation, or if you don't want to try meditation, hi Dwayne, you just want to at least get yourself at least 2 times a day, sit down for a little while and just breathe. Just center, not allowing thoughts to come in and to mess you up or slap you around. And if you do get a thought, dismiss it and go back to the center. The third, monitor your thinking. Don't let your mind run, and don't chase mental rabbits. Wow, can you go down rabbit holes with your mind at times? And so here's the thing. If they're fun and interesting, or you're fired up about something, you'll chase a rabbit clear to Alaska. You'll let your mind run until there's nothing left. And so you have to, one, recognize when it happens and realize you're in charge of that thinking. That thinking's not in charge of you, but it plays itself out otherwise. If a run-on thought comes to your mind, let's use an example. You maybe just broke up with somebody, and all of a sudden the thought of them comes back. And you watch a movie, and in the movie, maybe you see somebody cheating or something. And what happens? Ding, ding, ding. This little thing goes off and goes, oh my gosh, maybe he was cheating, and this, and that, and this. And you chase a thought rabbit, and you are gone out into the wilderness chasing this thing. Let's just say you watch something on TV, which happens a lot. People will get literally lullabied on TV, and then one of those little rabbits will take off on a thought. Oh, what if I go here? What if I was just at Nana's on Thursday? Could I have COVID? You know, all these things. Be careful with that. Monitor your thinking. Number 4, read, grow, and expand. We are actually born for that. You need to understand that we, as humans, as who we are, we're born to actually continue to evolve. You know, I don't see anybody other than the Geico commercial with a caveman and a bat. And I don't even know if they have him anymore. I think they just have the gecko. But anyway, you need to make sure that you're continuing to learn, and it's important. Like, I think they say, Bob Proctor had mentioned the average person doesn't read past the 7th grade level, not because they can't, but because that's just where they stopped reading altogether, like as far as level. So get a book. 5 is spend time doing things that make time disappear. What does that mean? When I'm here with you at night, time disappears for me. When I'm in front of a woman's group and I'm speaking with them, time disappears for me. When I am reading about things that interest me, time disappears. When I'm on the piano, time disappears. When I'm playing golf, time disappears. Find things in your life that make time disappear. And I'm going to tell you, because those are the things that help bring out the magic that is in you. And the more you do of that, the less stress you're going to have. Make it discipline and not a Band-Aid. Here's what I mean by that. Let's just say that you're good while you're listening to this video. You took all your notes. Tomorrow you make a decision that you are going to be a better manager of your happiness. And you're going to identify when you have stinking thinking thoughts come running away like a rabbit in your mind. And then you do it for 2 days and then you quit. The majority of people quit because they're just not disciplined. And when we think discipline, we think of, a kid and a parent, but that's not it. An untrained mind, a loosey-goosey mind will always create havoc. It will always do that until you have things in place and systems in place to keep you to create better habits. In the meantime, you're going to be fighting old habits. I mean, that's just the way that it goes. So if you want to be less stressed and you want to have better thoughts and you want to have all these things, you have to literally catch yourself in the act and choose not to think it, choose another thought, and catch it every time, not just when you're bored or want to try it out. The other one, which is really easy and it feels really good, if you feel like all of those are too heavy for you, one that will definitely help on the spot, in the moment, is to declutter your life. I mean, to clean the area that you're in most, whether it's your room, whether it's your office, whether it's your car, declutter, clean it out. If you look in your closet and you haven't worn that dress in 3 years, if you haven't worn that jacket in 3 years, get rid of it. Get rid of it. I'm going to tell you why, because you don't need it. When you declutter, you feel that you can breathe. When you clean, you feel that you can breathe. You feel that you have a better start. Make sure your shower is spotless. And you make sure your shower is spotless. It's the first thing you do of the day or the last thing that you do of the day. And when it's clean and sparkling, it's welcoming and you feel clean and you can start all over when you get out of it. Delete your past. That's number 8. Delete your past. And I mean that. I call leaving people in the waiting room of your life as something that is not, it's not to have. My thing is, if you don't believe that the life that you're living right now and after this very moment are not better than your past, then you might as well stay there, because that's where you're still at. So delete the past. If you have pictures of your ex laying around and that was 2-3 years ago and you're on with your relationship, it might be time to get rid of that. If you have things that remind you of something that wasn't a good place for you or a good time for you, don't keep it around. Like, really, you've got to let go of some stuff. So delete your past. If you really want to live right now going forward, delete your past. 9 is my favorite. I talked about this last year a lot, and that's ABCs of gratitude. Sometimes our mind is just rolling, right? We're up at night. Anxiety is kicking our butt. We haven't become the best happy managers yet, so stress is still, filling the air of our mind. And you just get something. I have beads. I don't have them with me today, but I have beads that are kind of like this. And I literally will do ABCs of gratitude. A, I'm grateful for the air. B, I'm grateful for the butterflies. C, I'm grateful for the cats. D, I'm grateful for dogs. E, I'm grateful for elephants. And you just keep going all the way. And I guarantee you, once you get to Z, you will feel something inside of you that will lighten, because you can't hold grudge, anger, stress next to gratitude. Gratitude is so powerful and so full of love that it needs its own room to shine. So go through it. Your A through ABCs of gratitude, A through Z, and you repeat that as much as you need to. And 10, sing. I mean, sing. Like, there's nothing that makes you feel better than just really belting out a song. And I mean belting out a song. I tend to go to like an old gospel song because for some reason I will get with the choir or something and I'll just, it feels so great. So sing. Literally sing. Don't go stressed and listen to a stressful song. Don't go stressed and, listen to something that has lyrics about anger. Don't go stressed and listen to a country song that talks about breaking up, or a new pop R&B talking about, I live this life alone or whatever. Don't do that. Go to a song that feels good to sing. A Whole New World, what is that? Aladdin or whatever, a whole new, something that's uplifting. Okay, so why do I call this, last but not least, the untrained puppy? I call stress the untrained puppy because it's like this. Have you ever been around somebody when they got like a bunch of puppies, or maybe even you've had a puppy, and you get over there and the poor puppy doesn't know what it's doing. It's just got these little sharp nails and these little sharp teeth, and it just tears your little legs up, and it wants to bite on your finger, and it probably rips your shirt on accident, but he's so cute. And so you just keep holding on to him, and then he just, before you know it, he bites on you or whatever, but he's a puppy. I mean, how do you blame him? So stress is kind of like that. We have learned how to drive our stress so well, it becomes like that little bit of a puppy. But when it gets too much for us and it starts to bite us and it starts to scratch us, well, then that's when we have a problem with stress. And that's when we decide that we really need to figure out why we're so stressed out. So I say, if you keep your puppy disciplined, you never have to worry about it being cute, because it's already cute. But you won't have to worry about being scratched. You won't have to worry about being bit. You won't have to worry about, all these things that happen with a puppy. And that's how I look at stress. If you just keep it managed, if you just keep your core together, then you're able to manage life altogether better. And then that little puppy that we call stress just gets to be that little puppy that's there. It doesn't have to come and affect us or bite us, because now we're managers of happiness, right? All right. So last but not least, stop accepting suffering as a badge of courage. I really need you to stop accepting suffering as a badge of courage. Your story, your story in your life is greater than just suffering. Suffering is a choice, and I want you to know that. There was a story of a yogi, and he's talking to this individual, and he said, what is life? What is life? And he says, life is the fragrance of jasmine on a spring breeze. And I say that because it literally is whatever smell that you give it. And I thought it was a beautiful story, because it is. Whatever is in the air of your life is exactly what you smell. So may it be jasmine. And that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you being here. I have about another 7 days of my 30-day commitment to you, of coming on here every day for 30 days, giving you the best that I can. And then I'll go down to 2 days from there, and I'll also introduce my program to those of you who are interested in going and furthering your learning. Have a fantastic Friday and a beautiful weekend. I will see you tomorrow at 6. And remember to tell yourself at least 2 times a day. Come on, you know what I'm going to say. I mean, it's kind of sad I can't hear you, but I feel like I can hear somebody saying, I can, I will, I'm worth it. That's going to happen, you watch. But anyway, make sure tell yourself 2 times a day, I can. Yes, you can. I will. I believe you will. And I am so worth it. God bless you, and yes, you will.